All right, we're live. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good. Lopsided, it's been forever since he's joined us, but
Yeah, it's been quite a
I
while.
asked him I asked him if he had read Legacy of the Force and he did. So I went ahead and brought him on too. Marcel's supposed to be joining us later today or later tonight, like in like 15, 20 minutes, so we'll see. Brennan, how you doing? Brennan has
Alrighty.
crapped out on us.
Oh no.
Ken, how you doing, brother?
Good. I got off work. Slept for like an
Nice.
hour.
Brennan,
Love
if you
to hear that.
hear me or us, you crapped out on us. Anyway, so today we are talking about Bloodlines. This is literally the Force number 2. If you weren't here for the last stream, you should probably go catch up on that. As is with the last stream and with all the other streams, there's going to be a bunch of spoilers in this. The point of this series is just to talk about Legacy of the Force. This series is kind of like a spiritual successor of sorts to Super Literary Encounters. Uh, he's back. Welcome back, Brennan.
Power outage. Sorry about that.
He's
The dark
now
side
his
is
mic is
strong.
not. Brendan, your mic is not working, brother.
It's not?
Oh, it's working now.
Oh, okay. Sorry
Anyway,
about that.
how you
just
doing,
hit a
Brennan?
power out. I'm doing pretty good. There's
He's having some
thunderstorms. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
thunder
same
right
here.
now.
It's been awful.
Yeah. We just had a power out. Can you hear me
that,
now?
that sucks, man.
Yep, I
We
can
also
hear
had
you.
an earthquake here
An earthquake.
a few
Wow.
days ago. It was very slight, but I'm over here just chilling in my room, and all of a sudden, there's just thud. It shakes my whole room, and it scared the holy bejesus out of me. But that's what we've been dealing with here in Texas, or at least
Yeah.
Northeast Texas.
Arkansas as well.
And Brennan,
We're probably dealing with the same stuff.
Brennan, is your internet like not like? Is it like? Is there something wrong with it? You're kind of working. Yeah. Damn. It's all good, Brennan. Take your time and fix it. Anyway, like I was saying, this series I kind of just put together because, first of all, I don't stream much anymore, and I wanted to stream more, and I wanted some more motivation to actually finish these books because I just wasn't. But I'm still on Tempest. I'm almost done with Tempest, but today we're on Bloodlines. We're gonna talk about Bloodlines, written by Karen Travis. So let's begin, shall we?
All right.
Indeed.
So this book is a Boba Fett centric book, right? This is what his first Boba Fett centric book post Jedi, right? There's really not any others. There's a bunch of
Uh,
short stories and comics, but that's about it.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so this is Karen Travis. So of course she's putting connections in it with her other books and her other stories. Um Mandalorian stuff. She even connects it to Boba Fett, A Practical Man. Have you all read that short story?
I read a little bit of pieces on it, and from what I can remember, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a New Jedi Order short story. Ken, did you read that?
Yep.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of it?
It's a good short story.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And that short story is sort of like a prequel to Bloodlines in a way, um, because it establishes Boba Fett as Mandalore, um, which Karen she continues in this story. Did you get it fixed, Brennan? It looks fixed.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Sounds fixed. All right,
Good
good.
for now. Sorry about that.
It's all good, brother. So, what is everybody's overall thoughts on the book? Lopsided,
Pretty
you can go
solid.
first.
I remember going into this book. I was very excited reading this because I really wanted to get to know Boba Fett's character more. I went into this book expecting, a lot of dialogue, getting to know Boba Fett's inner thoughts, and it delivered. This was my first Karen Travis book I've read. And Lance, I don't know if you're in the same boat as me, where this is your first book that you read about Karen Travis, but
It is.
she delivered on this book. I'm not gonna lie. And I think she connects some stuff from her other books, I believe, which was the Commando series, which
Mhm.
which is kind of a cool connection in my opinion. But yeah, this book delivered a lot. I love the interactions with Boba Fett and Han Solo, and all the other stuff too.
Yeah, it was really I really enjoyed that. Ken, what'd you think of it?
But it's a solid book for a Karen Travis book. I've always been skeptical of her work, but it's a solid read. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. Brennan?
Can you hear me, first of all?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's much better.
All right.
I don't know what you
Awesome.
did.
This was my first Karen Travis book as well. I read Legacy of the Force before I read any of Republic Commando, and I'd heard really bad things about it. But like Lopsided, I was really excited because I was like, "Ooh, we get to learn about Boba," and I was really excited about it. And from chapter one, it was really captivating. Now looking back, there are some pretty cool references to Republic Commando. I'm not a big fan of Republic Commando, but I can still appreciate obviously continuity. It's what drew me to the EU in the first place. And man, this book is full of continuity. It's full of some of the best early character development in Legacy of the Force as well, I'd say. Um, some people said it felt too much like a side quest to all of a sudden be following Boba. I didn't feel that way at all. It's early enough that it doesn't feel like all of a sudden we're like focusing on Boba. I think it's a very nice shift, and it does a really good job of making Legacy of the Force enjoyable early on. I like it better than Betrayal, and it's probably in the top 5 Legacy of the Force books for me.
Most definitely. It's definitely better than Betrayal. I think we can all agree with that. It's way better.
Yeah.
It was way better written. This is like a character study on Boba Fett,
Yeah.
which I mean, I never thought was possible until I read this. Well, because Boba Fett never had, even in the EU, with the stories I read, the closest he ever had a character to was what, Last Man Standing, at least with the stuff I've read.
That was pretty
I mean,
good. Bounty Hunter Wars, he didn't really even have anything.
he was just badassery Boba Fett, and that's it. Which
He was just
is
like
cool for a time, but even then, it gets it gets boring. So,
generic cool action hero, like number 3.
right.
You know?
he's just a
He
quiet,
felt like a
silent
power. He
badass.
felt like a.
CEO.
He felt like a Power Ranger villain more than anything. And that maybe that's too mean, but I don't know. But yeah, and what's interesting is this story. I don't remember what issue it is, but it brings a lot of stuff in from Star Wars Tales.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
the
I
one
don't
with
remember what issue.
his family.
Right, and it continues that story. First of all, I guess when that came out, originally that was not a canon story, and then this
No,
kind of made it canon.
it did.
So, which is very interesting. Obviously, Syntas Vel. If you don't know the story goes like this. Basically, Boba Fett, he tried to be different from not different from his dad, but he tried to be better by being a journeyman protector, and he met Syntas Vel, who was a girl, and she was, they fell in love, and then but she was then, she was raped by a superior officer, and Boba Fett, out of pure rage, killed him, and because of that, they would he would be kicked out from the journeyman protectors,
Yep.
and then after that, Syntas had gotten pregnant, and then they had drifted apart, Syntas and Boba Fett, um, and then Syntas was kind of forced to raise their daughter Aelin Vel all by herself. So, and then Boba Fett, after that, he kind of just went cold, stone cold bounty hunter, and kind of the guy we saw in the originals. But now that story, it connects that story's based off of Last Man Standing too, because it's established that he was in that story, which is written before any of the others.
Yeah.
It's established that he was a journeyman protector from Concord Dawn named Jasper Muriel. Now, of course, Attack of the Clones contradicted that, but Jango Fett opened seasons, and then that Star Wars Tales comic kind of fixed it and made it, where it didn't contradict each other. But Jasper Muriel was just a pseudonym, he would use. But anyway, all of that is mentioned in this book, all of it, and I think that's what I love about Legacy of the Force so far. Is it's bringing in like pretty obscure EU. You had Lamaya in the first book. Now you're having, from the Marvel comics, and now you're having Star Wars Tales, non-canon Tales stuff, which at first sounds stupid. Boba Fett having a family, wife and kids, yeah, dumb, but they made it make sense, and it's a big part of this book.
This book also references a online article by Leland Chi, not by Leland Chi, by Abel G. Pena, called "The History of the Mandalorians." It's really good if no one's read it yet, but that storyline expanded on outbid but never outgunned, and established that like Cintas did exist before Legacy of the Force did, but like the status of the article was questioned a little bit, but it padded out some of that and made it connect with, like Lance was saying, the last one standing, and Bloodlines references stuff that was established in that article as well. So Karen Traviss made sure to do her research, which was really cool that she was able to research all of this about Boba Fett from all of these prior sources.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Marcel?
What's up, Marcel?
Hey.
Yo.
Yeah,
Howdy.
I'm just finishing eating something, so continue, and I'll just mute myself.
What are you eating?
Goldfish.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. What kind of
Goldfish.
goldfish?
Crackers. Just like a late dinner of champions.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
What's it, I was going to ask Marcel what's he been up to, but y'all know what he's been up to? Preparing for Legends Con. That's what he's been up to. Like a badass. So, and if y'all don't know, Dan Wallace was recently announced to be at Legends Con, so I'm definitely excited for that. So,
You can tell us all the secrets of the expanded universe.
yeah, so I can't wait to ask him questions. So we got what, 3? You got Kevin J. Anderson, John Whitman, Galaxy of Fear, and then
Dan Wallace.
Dan Wallace. So bunch of
Yeah.
badasses.
Just announced on May 4th, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so where were we at? We're talking about Bloodlines connecting with stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts about Legacy of the Force. It's connecting to some pretty obscure pieces of media. Some of it is, pretty old. So, but like I was saying, it's a character study on Boba Fett, and it really gives Boba Fett a proper character that makes sense. And it also referenced I don't remember where this is from, but Finn Shisa. It talks about that. And it talks about why Boba Fett became Mandalore. Because if you don't know how that story went down, Boba Fett's Mandalore because he made a promise to a dying Finn Shisa. It's the only reason why he's Mandalore. And he's more so Mandalore in name only because Mandalorian clans are all divided at this time. And they're all... There's nothing... He's Mandalore, but not really. No one cares about what he's doing. So it's weird, but it's cool, and it does make sense to how he's Mandalore being Boba Fett. So I don't know. But Brennan, do you remember what story that's from? The Finn Shisa thing?
Some of that's in the Marvel comics, isn't it?
I know Finn Shisa. I don't know. Did that was the Marvel comics too? Was it?
I think it was.
Finn Shisa was introduced in the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Right.
But where was the storyline with him promoting Boba? I don't remember where that was. That's not
a guide.
Is it?
Maybe it was in like not actually in a short story. It could have been either in a source book or it could have just happened like in between books. And
that
scenes.
Might have been in Abel Pena's History of the Mandalorians.
Probably. It may have been like a Nominor poisoning Mara Jade kind of thing. Could have been
Right,
like that.
inferred off page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a cool story, and wherever it's at, like I said, it's talked about in Bloodlines. Um, but Boba Fett, man, um he's in like his 70s at this point too, and he's dying. His leg, it's a lot of it's because of the Sarlacc injuries, right? He's still suffering from those.
Yeah.
So I know his knee is pretty bad.
I thought he was dying
but
because of the fact he was a clone.
that
Oh
too.
yeah, like his
that was also
genetics
part
were
of
like
it.
wearing off.
The genetics are deteriorating. Yeah.
Right. And the
But
book, he's
I looked up where
looking okay.
the. Sorry, Lance.
Go ahead, Brennan. Go ahead, Brennan. Go
I
ahead.
looked up where the Fenchise Boba Fett transition was. It was in a StarWars.com article from after Legacy of the Force that establishes it. So that means that it does originally come from here. But the
Okay.
specific date was given later in an article called So Uncivilized Great Gunslingers in Star Wars that padded that out and gave even more to the story. So it seems like that's an original idea to hear.
Guys, can I can I share a screen and show you something?
Sure,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, you might have
Marcel, I
to.
got a quick question.
Yeah.
What's up with that shirt, brother?
Oh, my Ahsoka shirt. Let me share a screen and
Are you
I
trying
wore
to
it
fuel
especially
those Dave Filoni conspiracy theories?
Okay, I just want to show you something here. Okay, share.
Why won't it add?
Actually, hold on. Wait a second. Maybe I can't get it to render properly. Okay, if you go to the Wikipedia page for Legacy of the Force Bloodlines, all it has is like two things: publisher summary and then development. It says the working title for Bloodlines was Necessary Evil. Then you go for Bloodline, the canon novel by Claudia Gray, and it has like pages and pages of text breaking down the entire novel.
I looked up that earlier actually before the stream started, and I was actually confused of why the summary's not there because I was actually gonna like do like a little like read through just to like remember everything from the book.
But oh man, the state of Wikipedia, that a novel that's been out for I don't know what, over a decade, has literally nothing
almost
to
20
it.
years. Right.
Yeah, almost 20 years. August 2006 has literally nothing to it. And then a book that's been out since what, like 2016 or something like that.
Book that's been out for under 10 years has like triple or quadruple the amount of content about it.
More than quadruple the amount of content. It's astounding. They break down the entire novel like scene by scene.
They basically wrote the novel page sentence by sentence and page by page.
I just think it's astounding how bad things are. Like what is going on here?
We need a expanded universe Star Wars wiki alternative, and hopefully Callum's website could eventually become that. If it gets enough people behind it.
Yeah. That's why what's his name? The Essential Guide to the EU or what whatever that book's called. That book is, even though Pablo is a piece of crap, that book is worth it because Wikipedia does not have all the summaries on it.
The Reader's Companion.
Right, the Reader's. There you go. That book though, that has there's only a couple of books that don't have summaries because they weren't out yet. Crucible,
I don't think
not Shadowhunter.
Shadow Games isn't
Lockdown,
in there.
Kenobi, Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Is that it? Mercy Kill? Is Mercy Kill on it? I don't remember.
I think Mercy Kill is in it, actually.
There's only a handful of books. Like 3
there's
or 4
like 4
books.
or 5 that are in there.
But like all Legacy of the Force is in it, Fate of the Jedi, New Jedi Order, all that's in it. And each book has their own summaries in it. So if you want a summary to refresh your memory, don't go to Wikipedia, get the Reader's Companion.
There's even summaries of all of the Adventure Journal short stories as well.
Right.
Which is really nice.
There's even like novella. Some of those novellas, they have like A Practical Man that has a short story or a summary in
comic
it.
book spotlights as well, which are pretty nice.
Right.
Maybe it's just a Bloodlines thing because if you go to Wikipedia, Legacy of the Force, Tempest, or even Betrayal, it has an actual summary of the book itself, and yet Bloodlines has
Right.
nothing.
I noticed that too, Marcel.
Is this an anti-Karen Travis conspiracy afoot?
I don't know. Well, let's go see what Exile has. Legacy of the Force Exile.
If that has
Imagine
nothing,
if
that's
it's
actually
nothing.
No,
crazy.
it has a much more robust summary. That's
Damn.
crazy. Huh.
Damn.
Maybe it's like getting worked on or something. I don't know, but just yeah, it's just kind of crazy to see the amount of effort that's put into like Claudia Gray's Bloodlines, and then you have this book, which in my opinion is better, Bloodlines, and
Right.
nobody's really given it any proper due.
They should have called Claudia
That's
Gray's
why we're
Bloodlines.
here, Marcel. That's why we're here, brother. We're gonna
They
give
should
it
have
its
called-
proper due.
They should have called Claudia Gray's Bloodlines with 3 O's.
Bloodlines, yeah.
Blue lines.
Bloodlines.
Well, we see like a
Man.
lot of, of the more popular titles. We're going to see a lot of them get repeated over and over, like The Last Jedi or Tales of the Jedi.
Or Tales of the Empire now.
I think it was Tales from the Empire, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it's not
That
one
too.
to one, but yeah, for sure. Have we talked? What are we on? Like, have we talked about this book at all yet, or like our impressions?
Well, we're just trying to like unpack it. Well, what is your? Well, I guess everybody else gave their general impressions. What are your general impressions? Like, what when you first read it, Marcel, and you closed the book, what were you like? This is a good book, or this is bad, or like what were your initial thoughts when you first
Yeah,
read it?
so I didn't really care for Betrayal, which is I feel like saying that's just a betrayal of Aaron Alston, but I didn't care for that book, and it didn't really get me into Legacy of the Force. Now, I read Legacy of the Force without really having an appreciation for all the online vitriol that's kind of grown over the years towards Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi. So I kind of went into it not knowing any of that stuff, and it was right after I had gotten back into Star Wars, the expanded universe, in 2020. So I got back into reading the Thrawn trilogy, and then from there I jumped right to Betrayal. And then when I got to Bloodlines, I felt more invested in the series. I think it was a better entry. I think arguably it's one of the best Boba Fett stories that we have in the expanded universe. I don't care if people disagree with me, but that's what I feel. And
It is. That's true.
it was actually one of the first pieces of media that made me care about Boba Fett. I think the other one was Last Man Standing, but this was, I was like, oh man, because I never really cared for Boba Fett other than thinking that his armor was cool. But this kind of got me invested in the character. And when I finished it, I was like, I want to read more. And then I read Tempest, and we can talk about that next time. But yeah, I thought it was a good entry overall. I can probably rate it, but we can probably do that later.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
But and what I also love about Legacy of the Force is it came out first book Betrayal came out 2006, right? June 2006, something like that.
Yeah.
So prequel's already out by this point, so they could actually start incorporating prequel stuff in the post Jedi era, which
Yeah.
they already done anyway. But now they can do all 3 prequels, right?
Right. Well, we
So-
saw that in the Dark Nest trilogy, right? They have like scenes from
Right.
the prequels.
Yeah.
In them. Yeah.
Right.
Specifically
They
in
had
Darkness,
R2.
They have stuff from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
which is
Right.
the most recent movie to come out at that point in time.
I will say I'm mixed on Legacy of the Force, but I generally enjoyed it, and it's because of like books like Bloodlines that I generally enjoyed it, and it's actually my first Karen Travis book that I had read in the expanded universe.
Right. Me
Same.
too. I think that's most of us.
Yeah, and
Right?
I
think,
thought she
yeah,
did
that's all of us. I think.
Yeah, I thought she did a pretty good job.
What do
Right,
we all
it was
think
really
that-
good.
Those of us that have read Republic Commando and Legacy of the Force, would you guys which do you prefer of her body of work? Her Republic Commando works or her Legacy of the Force works?
Probably Republic Commando stuff, but it's kind of hit and miss because I didn't really care for the later Republic Commando books that she wrote. So the first
Same.
couple I think are maybe stronger than her Legacy of the Force work. But this might be like a hot take. Of the 3 Legacy of the Force authors, I liked Karen Travis the most in terms of her contributions. Yeah, sorry, Brennan. I know you're a big Troy Denning fan.
No, in this regard, I'll have to recheck my list. I think I also liked Karen Travis 1, Denning 2, and Alston 3 in terms of Legacy of the Force.
Which is crazy for me to say because like books like Iron Fist and Starfighters of Adamar are some of the greatest books in the expanded universe. But Denning Gang, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed him. It would be Denning second for me, and then Alston last. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, that's so weird too, because Alston, yeah. I mean, I have not even read those books because I skipped X-Wing when I first started reading the U because I was an idiot. But I have read Enemy Lines, and those were great. I mean, those were awesome. So,
Yeah.
and it's weird reading that and then going to Betrayal. I'm like, who wrote this? It felt like, I don't know, some no-name author wrote it.
His X-Wing and New Jedi Order stuff is his strongest body of work. Particularly his X-Wing stuff. I just found his Legacy of the Force Invaded the Jedi stuff to be dry. Maybe he didn't work as well in a group setting. Maybe he was a little out of his element arrow-wise. I just found them always to be the weakest of both of the
I
Maxis.
feel like that's it. It's not, maybe not even error, it's just he's not focusing on just X-Wing pilots. He's having to focus on
Jedi and
Jason and the
politicians.
Jedi, and
Yeah.
I mean, which is not bad. It's just, he was just better at writing X-Wing pilots.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But even then, he wrote Jedi and Enemy Lines, and it was great. Jaina had a big, of course, Jason wasn't in it because, he was
Luke
off
was
for
really
a
well
year. But
written in it as well, if I recall correctly. On
who?
Coruscant, Luke was in Enemy
Yeah,
Lines.
Luke and Tahiri, they were on Coruscant having
Yeah.
fun, and then
Very
Jaina
well
was
written.
chilling with Kit. And then of course, with the Lusankia and the Wedge and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we can talk about how like each of the Legacy of the Force authors had like their focus, right? I mean, Alston would focus on the starfighters and that kind of stuff, and then Travis focuses on the Mandos. The thing about Travis's Legacy of the Force entries, and I think you really start to feel this with Bloodlines, is that they feel somewhat disjointed from the rest of the series. And maybe Lance, this is something for you to watch out for, like look out for, and let me know if you agree once you get to like her second Legacy of the Force book. But they feel somewhat disjointed from the rest of the series because she focuses so heavily in on the Mandalorians. So like,
right.
while I like them sort of in and of themselves, I think as entries to it's almost like, I hate to say this, but like how The Last Jedi is very different from The Force Awakens. It's very different.
Not a bad analogy. Yeah.
Like each book kind of there was I thought generally when I read Fate of the Jedi, which I still haven't finished, thought that I have like 2 books left. It's a little tighter in terms of I don't like it as much as Legacy of the Force, but it's a little tighter in terms of like the tone throughout. But I thought Legacy of the Force, like just really book to book, was kind of different. Like obviously there's a through narrative and they're not contradicting one another or anything like that. But I thought each book was kind of tonally different in sort of what it really focused on. Yeah. It's not necessarily a criticism. It's just like an observation that I made when I was reading.
Right, and even with Bloodlines, Aylin Vel, I mean, she's in it, and she's kind of like the bridge between the Boba Fett stuff and the Jason stuff,
right?
Because Corellia, they start hiring bounty hunters to kill. Was it Han and Leia? No, it wasn't Han and Leia. It was Jason, right? I don't remember who. Who was it? Who did they hire? Who were they going after?
I thought it was Han because they put like a bounty on them. Did they put like a bounty on them in Corellia?
Yeah,
that's why they had to go like undercover.
Right.
Yeah.
And Aylin ends up going. She ends up getting captured by Jason, and Jason. This is gonna be full of spoilers, by the way. So if you have not read it, again, do not. This is full of spoilers, but Jason kills Aylin, right? He tortures her to death, is what he does, trying to get information. And then the scene when Leia finds out and then tells Boba, it was amazing. That was towards the end, and Boba, just seeing Boba, and then of course Murda Gev is there too. Oh my gosh, it was so cool to see that, because the whole book had been about Boba Fett. At first, it was Boba Fett looking for multiple. He's looking for Ton Wee, because of he's trying to, get healed, right? He doesn't want to
Mhm.
die yet. And then he's looking for Aelin because he knows that, if he does die, well, he don't want to die without reconciling himself with Aelin. So he's looking for Aelin the whole book, and then she dies and is killed by Jason freaking Solo. And I just thought that drama was just really cool, and it made focusing on Boba Fett just made a lot more sense. I don't remember. I think it vaguely referenced it, but did it reference Aelin being in Young Jedi Knights? I don't remember or not.
I don't
Not really.
think it did. Not directly, because that retcon was pulled a lot later because people
That she was the Boba Fett in Young Jedi Knights.
Yeah, because
Right.
people
Yeah.
said
Right.
did it
I
mention
didn't-
that she masqueraded as Boba in this?
It might
I
have.
think
It's been
he
a
was
while
wearing
since I read this
Mandalorian
book.
armor, I believe.
But I don't think it referenced her actually like being the one in Young Jedi Knights. At least that I recall. But it's so insane to think about how Jason's a kid in danger from her in Young Jedi Knights when she's under the guise of Boba Fett, and then later he just like destroys her.
I didn't
Right.
like how he killed her so early on. Like he kills Nilani in Betrayal, and then he kills Aelin Vel. Like this guy's like now suddenly a murderer. It just seems like such a hard shift. I would have like built
Right,
more up
I
to
can see
to the
that.
murderous tendencies. Like he should have started off by like roughing people up and maybe like, hey, like someone has to like, pull him back and be like, hey, like Jason, like go easy. You can't like you gotta, and then like maybe one day he just kind of like loses it and pushes over the edge. But it should have happened like book 4 or 5, in my opinion.
Or like a slower progression. Like maybe he's sparring and then he's broken someone's arm, he's bruised people.
Yeah, he goes like a little hard, and then maybe like gives into the anger a bit more.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
didn't he killed her in anger? Did he not? Like, didn't he like force choke her to death or something like that?
And she wasn't giving
Basically, I
him
mean,
information, and he was trying to get it out of her, but then he went too far. He kind of snapped over the edge.
right.
That's not the only thing that snapped.
That's funny. But what's cool about that scene too is, in my opinion, it's all done through Ben's perspective because Ben
Yeah.
watches the whole thing happen.
He was horrified.
I did like that. The other thing is that I don't necessarily disagree with killing off Aelin Vel because I think I just thought it happened like too early in the series, but I think it provides some of the other characters, and you're going to see this, spoilers, but like Boba, obviously, and even like Murda Gev, it provides them with like an interesting dynamic that wouldn't otherwise exist if she was still alive. So I thought like it sets up a lot of stuff that I thought pays off later on in the series. I just wish that it hadn't happened so quickly, but the actual killing her off, I think, was a decent decision.
Can I ask you guys, which death were you more shocked by? Nilani in Betrayal or Aelin in Bloodlines? Because I was more impacted and shocked by the one in Bloodlines. I felt like the Betrayal one I could see it coming and it made sense. The Bloodlines one just felt like, oh my gosh, he's really slipped away. And I was like pretty shocked. Like which one was like more like, oh wow, that just happened for you guys?
Definitely
Nilani for me.
Aelin for me.
Lopsided.
Yeah, definitely in book 2 because it reminded me about that one episode in TCW where Anakin, funny enough, interrogates Cad Bane in Coruscant and somehow makes Jason look like more of a maniac than Anakin Skywalker's tendencies towards the dark side. So
that's so funny. There's that parallel there to TCW.
Yeah,
that's true.
It reminded me of not when he tortured or was torturing Cad Bane, when he was torturing Poggle after after the battle, the second battle of Geonosis, they brought him back. That's what reminded me of. And he's force choking. That's what reminded me of.
Right.
But definitely because look, the Nilani. First of all, I didn't know who that was. That was her
fair
introduction.
Enough.
I didn't care about. She was just some Jedi to me.
She was sweet though.
But Aelin Vel, this is the daughter of Boba Fett, and we've already, I knew going to Young Jedi Knights that that's who it was. It was not Boba Fett. It was Aelin Vel.
I didn't know that until later. So
can I make a case? Can I explain why Nilani hit me more? because
Go ahead, Marcel.
Aelin Vel is like a villain at the end of the day, right? She's not like a good person. She's at the best you can say she's morally gray. It sucks because I mean she's a mother and she's a daughter, but at the same time, Nilani was an innocent and she idolized Jason, and he killed her. So like for me, that was just it was much more messed up that he did that. With Aelin Vel, I mean, like it's still messed up that he did that because it's Jason Solo, but the person who it's getting done to, I had less sympathy for.
I think that maybe it was the method that made it more shocking to me.
Sure, yeah, fair enough.
But definitely, I always had the impression that Nilani might have had a crush on Jason a little bit. Like
I got that impression too. Yeah,
she might have had feelings for him. Like he's this hero of the war, and she's younger than him, and he's handsome. He's a Solo, right? He's got that Harrison Ford smile going for him.
Yeah. Well, I think what made Aelin more impactful is not because he killed Aelin Vel. First of all, it's done through Ben's perspective, which is, that's kind of like the catalyst for Ben. Like, I don't know if I want to follow this guy anymore. And then maybe not the catalyst, but it's one of the reasons why. And then, but more so because for Boba Fett, and then seeing his reaction, like when he finds out, he's stone cold. He's not saying anything. He's just sitting there, like with his helmet on. You don't need to see his face to know what expression he's making. And then with Murda, she finds out at the same time, and I don't know. You can just tell that it kind of broke both of those characters. Well, I guess it made Murda angry more than anything, but it hurt Boba. But I know that this event, right? But this event will pull those characters closer together, because what they'll do is, maybe I hope I'm not misremembering this, but they'll bury. They bury Aelin. Wait, did they bury Aelin on Geonosis, or they took Jango and buried him on Mandalore? I don't remember. Which one was it?
I think they
go to.
I thought they were on Geonosis. That sounded right.
They go to Geonosis.
They buried Aelin.
I don't remember exactly what happened. What happened?
Yeah. I know they buried Aelin because that was touching to me.
I know they buried those two characters, together, Jango and Aelin. I don't remember if it was on Geonosis or they took Jango and then buried both of them on Mandalore.
Yeah, they buried Aelin on Geonosis.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty touching, and a nice callback to the prequels as well.
Right. Yeah, and Murda was with them too. And then when I think shortly after they find out, when they find out, that's when Murda's like, "Yo, I'm your granddaughter, boy." So
she says those exact words. Karen Travis wrote, put that to paper.
That is exactly how Karen writes it. But it's kind of interesting how her death kind of brought those two characters closer together, and then they're both realizing, hey, this, Boba Fett's the only family that I have left, or this girl's the only family I have left, depending on the perspective. But those are the only family those two characters have.
What did you guys think of Murda, like overall? Because I find that some like legacy characters, when they have children introduced, I can find them annoying. Like you're not worthy of being a successor. None of that with Murda. Murda was so cool. I could have had like a trilogy of books about her.
I think she was probably one of the best characters introduced in Legacy of the Force.
Absolutely. And it's a shame that we never really got to see much more of her.
I know.
Like, I would like to know about her becoming Mandalore, her bringing the clans back together. There's so much you could have done. She was really interesting.
Yeah, she was pretty cool, I thought. Definitely one of the better characters introduced in the series.
What's the Mon Cal woman's name who becomes? I don't want to spoil anything, but like, what's her name?
Niathal.
Niathal. Cha Niathal.
I love her. She's a great character.
She's fascinating.
I thought she was a good addition too, but like I think of like new characters introduced into the series, and Murda Gev was one of the highlights for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, in this book too, they make the Galactic Alliance Guard in this book the gag.
The gag.
The
They
G,
established
yeah.
that.
The gag is a little too on the nose.
the space
The gag.
SS.
But they're gonna
The gag.
gag democracy, gag people's freedom of speech.
Gag. The space SS.
For real.
Basically,
Space SS. There you go.
That's basically
The new ISB.
Yeah, basically.
They dress all in
so-
black and
Mhm,
stuff.
They have
You
the
go around
fake planes
terrorizing neighborhoods just to like make statements.
going around taking Corellians and putting them in camps.
Right.
Yeah.
And then was it this book or Tempest? I don't remember, but was it this book where the Anakin Solo is made, or is it the next book?
I
think
think
it's
it was in this
Tempest.
book.
Oh, was it here?
I thought it was in the next one.
I thought it was.
I
a
remember it
Tempest,
being
too.
in the first book. Or I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't. Because that Star Destroyer is specifically for the GHE. It's not. It was established
maybe
for
it was.
Jason for the
I'm
GHE.
thinking of something else. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
All
the
I
Anakin
remember
at
is
that point.
I think it was Jaina was like really offended by the ship being named the Anakin Solo.
I think it was
Yeah.
Han.
Or was it
Yeah,
Han?
yeah, it was Han. It was Han. It was Han. It was Han.
Okay.
He was
Yeah.
fuming. He was
Yeah,
fuming.
he was
Hey, you
pissed.
named that ship after my son? How dare you?
What do you mean you named the ship the Anakin Solo?
Oh, that was great,
That
Marcel.
was really good.
What do you mean you named it after my son?
Marcel more like Harrison Ford.
Hell yeah. But Anakin Solo, I know it's not. I don't think it is in this book, but if it is, I guess we can talk about it. It's basically a black Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
It that's all there is to it. It's a black Star Destroyer. It's Jason's.
Jason had a hand
Is,
in naming it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he have-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he? He did, right?
The one who christened it, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did.
So I thought that was really touching, right? Like, and I also think it's very symbolic, because Anakin dying during the New Jedi Order is arguably what pushed Jason on a dark journey in the first place. Inevitably, it was the torture and all of that, and what happened to his brother that led him to be kind of obsessive through Dark Nest. And he's got a little girl now, doesn't want anything to happen to her. And I think it's like the cataclysm really is his brother's death mixed with the torture during the war that makes him have like this obsessive, compulsive nature. And his ship, the ship there, black Star Destroyer, the Anakin Solo, like being named for him, I think it's kind of symbolic, or at least that's how I interpreted it. Maybe maybe that's a tone
I
deaf
didn't
way.
think about that. That's definitely it's like a symbol of who Jason is at this point. Or
Yeah.
maybe not who he is at this point, but where he's been or what the journey he's been on.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
because Star
And it's like
Destroyers, even at this
reading dark.
point, Star Destroyers had kind of become a good thing because the Alliance, well, the New Republic was using it, and then the Alliance is using that.
Right.
So I mean, not in like mass numbers, but you have the Mon Mothma, you have the Elegos Akla, you have
Yeah.
all
Instead
these
of like an
different.
evil site, it was like hopeful almost.
Well, I mean,
Right,
let's be real. They're such a great ship. Why wouldn't you use them? Repurpose them.
There you go.
I love how they
Especially-
use like the Lusankia and
Yeah.
after they obtain it in the X-wing series, they
Oh, yeah.
right X-wing series.
Yep.
They use it in like
Yeah.
Crimson Empire.
Yeah, that's right.
They should have called them
Even up
Star
into the
Heroes
into the
instead of
NJO,
just-
they used it
Yeah.
there in the NJO
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it's but it's like Star Destroyers were once evil and they became good, and Jason was once good and became evil, and he has this black star. It's just I don't know. It's very symbolic of his journey. So
Definitely.
but it's interesting because the Star Destroyers like the Mon Mothma, they have a gravity well generator on it. And I don't know, I always thought that was cool. I've been playing a lot of Empire at War. Ken knows it.
Yeah,
So
I do.
I'm learning about these ships, things I'd never, I guess, picked up on in the first, when I first read about them.
If it has a gravity well generator on it, does that mean it's also doubles as an interdictor cruiser?
It can, yeah. But what's interesting is it doesn't have like the, you know how like interdictor Star Destroyers, they have like these balls on them.
Yeah, they have like the hubs basically. Yeah.
Right. The Mon Mothma doesn't have those.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it looks like a normal Star Destroyer, but it's also an interdictor. It also functions as one, so it's a pretty dangerous ship, if anything. So I don't know if it was as powerful though, because I mean they didn't want to use it to decimate fleets, more so to defend. Plus the New Republic was becoming more fighter focused. That's what they wanted to be.
Yeah.
So, like I said, too much Empire War.
I find it so interesting. It's again not to like bring up like the new continuity, but I think one of the cool things is like that it is different. Is that in the new continuity they demilitarize and get rid of all their ships, which obviously doesn't serve them well. Can you imagine if like the New Republic did that in the EU and then the Yu Vong attack? They would have been completely decimated.
I've gotten curbstoned.
Right. It's ridiculous that I mean, they had to write in there why the New Republic was so weak by the time of the sequels, so they had to write in, well, they demilitarized.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, the Republic was demilitarized, right? Like that's why they needed the clone army because the original, the old Republic was at that point in time, like they were. I think there was like the fleets at Rendili or something.
The thing is, the Republic they had so long of peace, that it was kind of justified to not focus so much on the military, while the New Republic they had just gotten out of a 20-year-long war, maybe not 20 years, but
the galaxy is like
the Empire was huge.
Yeah.
And they just, they demilitarized a few years after Jakku, so it's like, why? And there's still remnants around.
Yeah, I think the theory is
I
because
don't know.
most of the Empire went into hiding. But you're right. I mean, like in the EU, that's not the case, right? It breaks down into
Right.
factions and warlords, and they fight those warlords, and then eventually, make peace with Pelion, and then the Yuuzhan Vong attack, and then they have the Swarm War after that, right? Which I guess was a more localized event, but at the same time, like there was never a chance in the EU for them to even consider decommissioning the fleet or demilitarization because they were basically constantly at war.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I don't even think, even if they weren't at war, I don't think they would even do that because of, the Empire is still a thing. Yes, it's a lot smaller. Yes, it's led by someone who's not a crazy maniac, but there's always that chance. So
Right, and even like the Hutt cartel, like what if they made a bid for power or something like that? And there was a rogue Hutt Durga, right? He creates the dark saber. Like if you don't
Right.
have a fleet to
Right.
try and stop the dark saber, it like blew up when they tried to use it. But say if it actually worked, right? There were all these super weapons still around too. So I think it made sense to keep a fleet.
Right.
And you also want to maintain like general control. They're not the Empire; they're the New Republic, but or in that case, what was it, Galactic Alliance? They become. But you want to maintain, you want to maintain control over the galaxy, over the portions of the galaxy that you're in charge of. And if you have no fleet, then how do you
Enforce that?
Yeah, how do you enforce anything?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. A warlord could just rise up out of nothing and just run roughshod in any given sector if you don't have any type of fleet to combat him.
Right. And then the New Republic thought it'd be let's negotiate with this First Order. Let's negotiate with a new Empire.
That's the other Bloodlines you're talking about.
Even worse.
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the bad one. I don't know. I just thought it was stupid.
I didn't think the other Bloodlines was. Anyways, yeah. I think this one's better. This one's better.
I guess you've read it, Marcel, but logically, it's like, well, you just fought a war defeating an empire. Here's the successor to the empire, and now you want to make peace with them? You think they want peace?
Yeah.
And then they continuously break the treaty over and over again. The New Republic does nothing. So, anyway, let's not talk about that Bloodlines. That's the bad one, or the non-canon one. How about that? Piss people off.
It's non-canon to the EU.
There you go.
Amen.
Luckily, they don't. Well, I guess maybe they should have demilitarized by this point, so they couldn't terrorize people in these books.
Are we introduced to Gorn Bevan in Bloodlines? Is that his first book?
Yes, that's his first novel, I believe. Not his first story, but his first novel, I believe.
I'm
Mm,
looking him up now.
Which he's
Gordon.
also a great character too.
fantastic.
So
Yeah,
and he's the epitome of how you do, in my opinion, how you do representation well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mentioned. Yeah, he has a husband, but it's not like, guys, I have a husband, and that's the only thing that is important about me. No, he's actually a character, and part of it is he's actually,
He's a
he's
good
trying.
character.
I know he
He's a
has a
great
scene with
character.
Boba, and I think they kind of got in, like an argument or a discussion about it or something. I don't remember exactly, but he was basically like, you need to unite the Mandalorians and have a proper rule over them. Isn't that what he basically tells Boba Fett? Something like that.
Yeah,
Along
he's
with,
kind of like Boba
Yeah.
Fett's. He acts as like his moral compass throughout the
Yep.
series.
Right, right. So he was always, and then of course he was in what was it, Practical Man. He was in that story too. That's where I remember him from.
That's
When I
that's
think of
his
him.
first appearance, according to the Wook.
Right.
And then
The Wook.
Man is so good.
and then
It's
Bloodlines
really
is
good
his
story.
next appearance. Um,
Right.
Making Bevan and his husband Medrit Vasseur, one of the first openly gay couples in Star Wars literature. And like the thing is, like, so many people online who like the new stuff because it represents other groups better than the old stuff does, don't even realize that like Bevan exists, right? Because like they haven't read that far into the EU or whatever. And I think he's such a fantastic character. I wish he was in more. I wish he just wasn't in Legacy, the Force. I wish they had imported him into other series as well, because I thought really like he did such a great job of keeping Boba like even keeled and just providing that advice that he
Did
needed.
you say even peeled?
Even peeled. Thank you for that.
That's funny. Yeah, he was a great character.
And like later on, he has some really, really great scenes, I think, if I recall correctly, with Jaina as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good stuff. Very good stuff all around.
He's probably my favorite Glup Shido out of
Gordon
Legacy of
Bevan.
the Force.
Yeah.
He's a Glup Shido. At this point, he is.
I guess so.
I don't know. Maybe that's not the right word, but
No, I guess he is.
I don't know. He is now, I guess. Nowadays he is, unfortunately, but let's not call him that. Let's just call him a badass. So let's just call him that. We'll call
Just
him
call
that.
him Goran Bevan.
I just feel like he had too much He had too many interactions with other characters to be a Glup Shido. Like Glup Shido, you have to kind of be like in the background and interesting.
Gorn actually had influence over the main story and the characters' motivations and reasoning.
I guess that's fair. Maybe that's not the right word, but
Yeah, he's no background character, at least to me. I thought he was great.
Hey, do you know Bevan is Mandoa? It's for Lance.
Wait, is it
Serious?
actually?
Yeah. And
That
wait,
is-
let me see.
I did
Gor-
not even know
Lance
that.
Bevan.
Oh yeah, Goran Lance.
Goran is Mandoa for Smith, so it's like Lance Smith,
The most basic,
like
is-
someone who makes lances, I guess, or something like that.
that's the most like American sounding name ever. Lance Smith.
I think like Smith is in like a blacksmith, not like Mr. Smith.
Oh, okay,
Wait, where
gotcha.
are you
gotcha.
getting that from, Tyrus?
Behind the scenes,
Is that on the Wook?
yeah, it's from Legacy of the Force Revelation.
Oh, okay.
That's why the book was called Revelation, because it just revealed that about.
That's
Goran
the
Bevan's name.
only reason it was called Revelation. That makes sense.
That's correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I guess
sorry.
it's really Lance meaning probably the like the weapon, the spear, and Smith probably meaning like a blacksmith. So does Gordon Bevan, does he like make lances? Like, is he like a blacksmith?
He might be.
I don't know, man. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. So that's what, I'm changing my name right now.
Is
to
there-
Goran Bevan.
Goran, the Star
okay.
Wars EU teen.
Hey, I
You
turned 20 this year. I gotta change it to something.
You should change your name to Lance Bevan, so it's Lance.
Hey, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Hell yeah.
I'm kidding.
Is
But-
there an
I'll change it
actual
right now.
character named Lance in the EU?
What's up, Brendan?
Is there-
Lance.
Yeah, there is a Lance in the EU from Galaxies named Lance Human. He's a rebel lieutenant.
Hell yeah.
Um,
There's also a Lancer class frigate.
Yeah. Is there any
There's
Marcels in the EU?
I sincerely hope not.
There's a Marcel in canon.
Damn,
Marcel Schradier. Oh wait, he's in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, there you go. It's canon. Can we talk about Bracken Sal Solo?
Ah, yes.
That
The man, the
that
legend.
douchebag. Nah, his death was pretty cool. I'd already been spoiled by it because of the artwork, but Han and Boba running into each other and be like, "Hey, let's go kill Thraken," and Han be like, "Yeah." It was pretty cool, and then they actually do it. Who makes the final kill though? I think it's Gorin, right? Not Gorin. Murda.
It's Murda. That's how I remember it.
Apparently, this is Thraken Sal Solo as he appears in Star Wars Galaxies.
What?
Man,
He looks so goofy.
Yo,
Yeah.
Looks
do you think I
nothing
could
like
pull
his actual official art.
He
If I
does-
got a buzzer, I could pull that off.
He looks like
Must
he
have
looks like he looks like Cephadius.
That's what I was
he
just
does look
thinking.
like him. That's
Or like
true.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
What were they smoking when they made this? People like Galaxies.
Galaxies is wild, man.
I tried to-
Maybe Thraken just had a rough younger years.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis.
His hipster years.
There you go.
God.
Very
Let's
interesting.
get a real picture of Thraken Sal Solo from I think the Essential Guide to New Essential Guide to Characters. Here, I'll share this.
Yep.
I think this is more representative of what he should look like because he looks like an older Han, and I think AC Crispin, or maybe it was Roger McBride Allen. One of the two established that he looks like Han Solo. Could be mistaken for the
Wait, what was your question, Marcel? I'm confused.
Oh, nothing. I had no question. I was saying that
Oh,
he's
okay,
supposed to look more like Han Solo.
Right, yeah. My favorite art of him has always been the one on the Assault of Salonia novel. He's on the cover.
Hmm.
I mean, you can't really see him. And this, I guess this may be the European version of it. Brandon would know. But I always found this
Yeah, right here.
cover one of
Where
my
they just
one of my
Photoshop
favorites.
Harrison Ford with a mustache.
Yeah, there you go.
Basically, what it is. This looks like the European version, but that's him right there.
That's the UK cover.
That's such a
Yeah.
cool cover.
The UK
And then the,
printings of Bantam books are actually really cool. I have a couple. They're amazing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
this
Max.
is what he looks like on the
Lego walk.
American version. Can y'all see it? It's on screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite EU covers. Pretty badass. There's Cineform right
It's a
there.
good one. It's a good one. Although I don't always care for as good as they look. I don't always care for Bantam's over reliance on putting legacy characters on the covers of their books, and I understand why they did it from a commercial perspective because you want people who like the movies to like grab those books off the shelf and buy them. But I wish there was more EU character representation on these covers. Like, imagine if Waru was on a cover. Come on.
Huh.
Come on.
No, they need to reprint Crystal Star, and it's just the scales all the way around. No text. People will just know.
Oh, look at that. I mentioned Waru and Iron Inquisitor appears. I shouldn't be surprised.
Oh man.
Yeah, so Thraken Sal Solo. I thought he was particularly, annoying in this book.
He
Very,
was a
but,
little
like,
thracky in this book. A
in
little
a good
thracky.
way, right? Like,
Yeah, like they're obviously. I think Travis is trying to make you hate him even more than you already
he's
do.
maniacal. He had me pulling my hair out, seething angry at him. Like,
Right.
he causes so much of this destruction. Doesn't he have a line where he like undermines Anakin Solo's death?
I
And
think
it-
so. I recall something like that.
Yeah, I was ticked about that. I was
Disrespectful.
angry. Like
Yeah.
that's your what? Your
Nephew. Or no, I guess
cousin once removed.
Yeah.
Second cousin once removed or
He has
something.
no
like that.
relationship with Han, right? Like who doesn't care?
Yeah. But it's just like it's icky, right?
Yeah, he's a piece of dirt.
Mhm.
He's a Sleemo
He's,
scumbag.
Who's the most annoying? Borsk Phalia or Thrakensaw Solo?
Arkansas Solo.
Arkansas Solo.
Borsk has a cool
Thraken.
death.
Borsk is annoying,
I
but
guess.
again, like his death at least means something.
And also, Borsk actually cares about the New Republic.
Borsk
Awaru
is
limited
like,
edition crystal star.
That is true.
Borsk is like just
yes.
so he's so dedicated to his fiendishness. He's like my dog. He's just like so fiendish and naughty all the time that you just gotta love him for it because that's just who they are.
Exactly.
You know?
He's fiendish, but he's got a purpose.
Yeah.
Your
Draken's
dog
just
is
mean.
fiendish.
My dog is very fiendish as of late.
Are you sure it's not a cat?
Yeah, he literally he licks his paws all the time. He grooms himself. He stretches like a cat.
Wow.
He's very cat-like.
He's reincarnated into a dog.
Even
Oh
yawns.
no, what did I do to deserve this? I'm a dog.
Well,
Thraken is a very memorable part of this book, though, right? And it's very notable that he gets wasted because
he gets whacked in this book.
Yeah, he's a pretty decently big part of the EU, like prior to this, at least bantam-wise, pretty major character. So like, he didn't get killed off in NJO, but he gets taken out in Legacy of the Force. So.
I think the one thing that Thraken serves, he's like a central villain for the Corellians, and I think he got killed off way too early. Because after he dies, like you have all these different Corellian politicians struggling to fill the vacuum, and it's just there's too many. That they don't get enough like page time to develop. As
they should have made a bigger deal of him. You're right. They should have made a bigger deal of Thraken, like had him go a little longer, had him be annoying a little more. Maybe Travis couldn't even stand him.
The only other Corellian villain in this trilogy was, or this book series, was Turfenir.
Yeah, Turfenir. I'm surprised that they killed off Thraken as quick as they did because he could have been like the perfect foil for the whole Corellian crisis. Mm-hmm. Where is this art from? Is this from the Essential Reader's Companion or something?
Yes, I think it's in that one.
Yeah, it is. It's from the Essential Reader. Yeah, by Joe Corney. Wow, great job.
Love the style.
Joe. Yeah.
I've always loved this one because Han looks so cool in Mando armor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Murda being in black Mando armor, I never even noticed that. That's pretty cool too.
Isn't she supposed to be like 19? She looks like she's 40.
You know those Mandoas, they age old.
Hand me another cigarette, Thraken.
All Mandalorians do what Obi-Wan did and look into like two suns at the same time.
Thraken's just like, don't kill me, please.
Thraken's face there reminds me of that villain in Shrek. What's that guy's name?
Or Farquaad.
Yeah, Farquaad.
No way.
That's funny.
I'm trying to. Yeah, no, I like this piece of art a lot. It's really cool.
Ooh, Only Good Games. That would be a really cool figure release for Han, actually.
Yeah.
Han DeLorean.
Especially since they're doing Black Series is doing a Dark Empire Luke.
I think it's Hot Toys. I don't know if it's Black Series.
Hot Toys. I don't remember which one, but
immaculate.
Yeah,
it looks pretty badass.
Had me like grinning ear to ear for like an hour.
I want it.
Boosted my mood. Yeah, I hear it's gonna be over $300. That might
hemorrhage my bank account.
Money is no object for Dark Empire Luke.
I know.
Money is no obstacle.
How do we know how big they are? They're pretty big, aren't they? Those Hot Toys ones. They're like pretty big models, aren't they?
They can be.
Yeah.
Is this like an actual model or is it a bust?
I think it's a figure, isn't it?
It could be like, it's probably going to be like a
Used,
big
I think.
statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only good games. Oh man, if you started getting into the figure collecting, it would be it would be over. It's
You
just,
run out of money, boy.
yeah, they just cost
Mr.
way too much
2
money.
copies of Fate of the Jedi imprint over here.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Lance, are you aware that you misspelled Literary of the Force? It's just Liteary.
Oh my goodness. How do you spell that? How do you spell it again?
There should be an R in between E and A in literary.
Literary.
Liteary of the Force.
Literary.
Liteary of the Force.
Yeah, I think you can edit it later.
Yeah.
It won't let me edit it now. That's kind of. It's kind of.
It's because
It's on the thumbnail, Lance. So just just copy how it's spelled there.
Oh my goodness.
That's fine.
Well, we're about the hour mark, a little over an hour, so I want to go ahead and wrap this up because I have food downstairs waiting for me.
I have
Sure.
food waiting upstairs for me.
So Lance, what's your rating on this one?
This is a solid 8. This was a really enjoyable book. Really enjoyable.
Okay.
It's a pretty good rating.
I don't think a Boba Fett character study, which is exactly what this is. Never knew I needed it, but a really,
Sure.
really good story. Really good story.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to add, something I also appreciated, and it's something that it's not in the Denning. I'm on Tempest. It's not in his book, and it wasn't in Betrayal either. But at the beginning of every chapter, there's a quote. There's a HoloNet reel, or a Mandalorian proverb, or some piece of text from in universe.
Yeah, little lore
I
text.
just
Yeah.
right. I just felt it like it elevates
It does.
the
Yeah.
Oh
book.
yeah.
It makes the book feel a lot more. I don't know, like real, I
Immersive?
guess.
Immersive.
Like real.
Immersive. That's the best word. And
It's a nice
Yeah,
touch. It's a nice touch for sure.
It really
Yeah.
is. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed reading every part of it.
Supernatural Encounters
Tempest,
is the same thing.
Yes,
it's just
SE does that too.
very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. It's something I wish all the books had in this series. I know the last book will have something a little different. Can't wait for that.
Just wait.
But yeah, that was also a touch that I really enjoyed, and because it kind of sets maybe the tone for the chapter a
Yeah.
little bit. I don't know. It was really cool, and so I'm assuming her other books have the same thing. I'm assuming.
I don't know,
I
but I remember
remember
them having it.
I remember
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
latter Republic Commando books had some quotes in it. Maybe not every chapter, but I remember reading like isolated quotes in like I think Order 66.
Yeah, Sacrifice has it. I
Yeah,
just
okay.
checked.
That's an
let's check.
affectation that like some fantasy authors do as well, and I've always really enjoyed it because it makes the universe feel more real to me. It's like all these like little added bits of lore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm checking Revelation right now. Let's look. Yes, Revelation has it too.
Cool.
It's just such a cool thing,
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
more tidbits of lore like that. It's so cool.
I don't know if anyone answered Only Good Games' question, but Vitiate has no figure that I'm aware of.
Oh man, I know. Is the Dark Empire, Luke? Is that a part of the same line as that Bastila figure that was released a few years back?
Oh,
That's not the same line.
The big
the one where
brass
she's like
one was a statue.
yeah, the statue.
Yeah, where the lightsaber's out behind her.
Here.
Is that not the same line?
I don't think so. It's part of a line with Revan and Stark. I mean, it might be. Max would be the one to ask. She knows all this stuff.
Yeah, she knows about.
No, that's gentle.
Max
That's gentle. The
Luthor,
gentle. It's Gentle Giant. Gentle
Yeah,
Giant
for the
is different from
Bastila.
Hot Toys.
Oh,
Yeah.
They also did a Nihilus Gentle Giant, didn't they? Recently, I think Son of Luke covered that.
I don't know.
Did you see those Nihilus and Scion Funko Pops that just those made me
I
want to
saw
get
those.
Funko
Those look
Pops
pretty
for the
good.
first
I
time
may
in
get
my life.
those.
Nothing on this earth can compel me to buy a Funko Pop. I don't care if they did like a Funko
Waru Funko Pop. Waru Funko Pop.
If they no,
Who would
but
buy
that's
that?
it's
Don't
close.
lie.
It's close.
Thon Funko
What
Pop.
about
You
an
know what?
Artful Hextra Fawn?
Master Uru Funko
No,
Pop.
why would I buy an Arl? Like, people would be like, "Who is this?" It'd be like, "Oh, it's Arhole Hextrafon's Funko Pop."
Ooh,
What,
Funko
what if
Pop.
they just made one just for you, Marcel? You tell me you won't buy it?
I would consider. I wouldn't even buy a Funko Pop of me, but I would consider buying a
Yeah.
Waru Funko Pop.
I'd buy a
Consider
Funko
it.
Pop with Marcel.
Good. I'm glad one of us would.
Hell,
Yeah,
I'd buy a
Matt-
Funko Pop.
You know what,
Matt-
Marcel? If it makes you feel, I would buy a Funko Pop of you, brher.
Okay.
I
Now we-
I would too.
Apparently, there's a market for this.
Me
We have a market, yeah.
three.
Max says that the Dark Empire Luke is a whole articulated figure, so it's not just a statue. It's huge, but it's
Okay.
like
Okay.
articulated top of line stuff. It's got fabric. If you look closely on the pictures, it's definitely fabric. So it's
Perhaps
really
Max
neat.
it can articulate itself into a lower price.
I'll probably
all
buy
wish
the.
that.
Facts.
I'll
facts.
probably buy the. I'd probably buy the Malik and Nihilus Funko Pops. I'll definitely buy. I don't care for Funko Pops, but like
It terrifies
It's
the
EU
crap
Funko
out of me.
Pops.
Like when a toy is so expensive that it like on eBay, if you're checking out, it'll be like, do you want to pay this in monthly installments? It's like, oh my gosh, this is way too expensive for a toy if it wants me to pay this every month to make it easier for me. You know,
But don't they mark it
But-
up like you have to pay interest on top of that? Paying
You
it
do
monthly
have to pay
installments?
interest on
Yeah, it's
top of
not-
it.
Yeah, it's not like
But what I understand, it's only going to be like 20 to 25, but like still, it's like
20 to 25% interest.
you know,
no,
the
no, no,
figure
no,
looks
like
cool.
extra dollars.
The figure does look cool, and it is very accurate. But to me, it's just Return of the Jedi Luke with a badass cape and a cool belt. That's what it
make
looks like to me.
I think it
It's-
looks like
I
it's
don't
stepped
know if
out of
I'd
the
be willing-
channels of Dark Empire.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know if it's worth a figure. I
Look at
don't
what
know.
Only Good Games
It's just
said.
me.
But like that's the thing, Lance. Like it maybe not for you, but there are collectors who see that and they're like, I must have it. And I might be one
Well,
of them.
I know.
I might
and
be
I
one
know,
of
and
them
I
too, but I
respect
just
that,
don't know if
but-
I can afford it.
But like for sure, like I think if you were to ask like anyone, they'd be like, "What? I'm not going to spend $300 on this. This is nice. It looks great, but it's just going to sit there and collect dust on your shelf."
If
Hey,
they
and if-
did one for Anakin Solo, I would probably do the monthly thing like Brennan.
Yeah.
Because it's Anakin Solo's my favorite. But I wouldn't even do one for Kate. I would just do one for Anakin. If they do one for Anakin, I would do it. I would do the
And-
monthly thing.
See, here's what I'm thinking about too, with all of this. Like, if you want to have like a Dark Empire Luke on your shelf, but can't afford the like $350, you could get the old Power of the Force one that they released back in the 90s.
That's super cheap.
That's
I got it for
on
like
eBay
$20.
for, like, 15,
Yeah.
$20, yeah.
Yeah.
And that looks pretty cool. I'm definitely planning to like put it up with like my Thrawn up there, like on the wall.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. It's you can't see it because it's too far. But if you look like, like right there, that's Dark Empire Luke. You won't be able to see
Yeah, nice.
I used to have a whole bunch of those Power of the Force, but they were all like just for the movies. So I kind of got rid of them, and they were just sitting collecting dust anyway.
I think they've got like 9 or
But-
10 expanded universe Power of the Force ones. They did ones for the Dark Forces video games, Shadows of the Empire,
Yeah.
and Dark Empire, and I think the Thrawn trilogy comic. So like Heir to the Empire comic. It would have been really cool if they'd done Tales of the Jedi. Can you imagine that? Like
I
a
mean,
way-
that would be
Take my
really
money.
cool.
Just take my money.
They could have done like Thrawn is like Thrawn and Nomi as like the Dewback and Stormtrooper set that they did back in the day.
I would give like half this collection for a line of Tales of the Jedi action figures.
I would kidnap a child and give the child away
Yeah,
to
okay.
get that.
I wouldn't go that far.
Anything for a Star Wars X Raccoon figure. Oh my gosh.
That's a
I
little
would-
too much.
I would kidnap Lance and hold him ransom.
I would kidnap Alex and stop him from looking at Dark Empire Palpatine images.
Did you see Only Good Games' comment? They need a naked Emperor Palpatine fresh out of the clone tank for Alex.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you know, like, actually, you guys might be too young for this, but like back in the day, they used to make like these toy sets that like would have like this artificial goop and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
Do you know?
Anything. It'd be like Ghostbusters or something. It'd have like this goop that would, or Ninja Turtles is a big one. They'd have like this art.
That's what I was about to
Hot
say.
Wheels too did that.
Yeah, they could do that with like a clone Palpatine. Just like you add your own artificial goop and just pull them out of the tank, and it's just
I
Like,
grew
it
up
just
with the
goes everywhere.
2012 CGI TMNT series
yeah.
that did the multiverse and connected back to the original Ninja Turtles cartoon as well, which was really cool. And they had a callback to those old ones. They had a mutagen man toy that I had, and you could get the goo and like pour it into his container, and then you could pump his arm, and it would like squeeze it out and shoot it at the other figures. It was
That
so
thing is
cool.
like probably so highly toxic, and that's why they stopped making toys like that. But
Yeah.
those were the days.
Yeah. I sold that figure recently, so kind of sad. But yeah.
Such is the way of things. Lopsided, how about you? What would you rate Bloodlines?
Honestly, I would rate it a 9 out of 10. I just absolutely love how they humanize Boba Fett and essentially give him like character. Basically, I absolutely enjoy that. And what else I like about it is we get to see more of his like inner feelings and connections to Jango Fett, and how kind of depressed he is about it. Because we always see him as this like very tough guy and all that stuff. And I like not to sound bad, but I like to kind of see him sad in a way, because that's that's a new emotion to see out of him.
Yeah.
And kind of just see more of his like personal life more. That's what I absolutely love about this book. So 9 out of 10 for me.
That's cool.
Ken?
And what about you?
I'd say 8.5 out of 10, mainly because of Thraken.
Wait, did you say 0.5 out of 10?
think
Like
you said
8.5?
Oh, okay. I did not hear the 8. I was like,
0.5.
8.5.
yeah, that's what I said. I was
0.5
like,
is not that bad.
No, but
because
it's
Thraken.
8.5 mainly because Thraken should have been a bigger villain on the Corellian side. That's lacking in that department after his death. So it's my main gripe with.
That's a good point.
Fair enough. Marcel, did you give your rating yet?
No, I give it a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10. But that's not to suggest it was like bad or anything. It's just like I just think if I'm rating it of like the entire expanded universe,
That's how I try to think too.
But again, like I didn't think it was mid. I thought it was really good. And if it was just the Boba Fett stuff, I would like put it up to an 8. But again, like I didn't like how Aelin Vel was killed off. So I had some gripes with the book. I thought it was well written. It was an easy read for me too. I flew through this book in like 4 days. But I think like a 7, I'd probably give it.
That's a really good point
Fair
too.
enough.
I got through Bloodlines in half the time it took me to get through Betrayal,
Yeah,
which tells you something.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably give it between a 7.5 and an 8. I thought it was really good, but kind of like Marcel said, when you're weighing it against the rest of the EU, you're like, how does this stack up? And it's definitely over like the mid tier of the EU. It's definitely in the like good tier of the EU, I would say. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'd say good.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty good. Pretty good book. I think we're all in agreement on that one. And I do agree with Marcel's criticism, though. I felt, and I have the same one with the Galactic Alliance I mentioned last stream. It was way too fast. I don't mind the Galactic Alliance becoming corrupt in like a new empire, or not a new empire, but they're becoming tyrannical like the Empire. I'm cool with that. It was just because you didn't see any of that in Dark Nest. I mean, you go from Dark Nest to Betrayal, and it's like an instant shift. And I don't know. Give me just a second, guys.
Nazo, where are you at? You say you're not at
Never
Legacy
mind.
of the Force or even NJO.
What's up, Nazo? Doc, greetings.
Yeah, I would like to do an NJO reread this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there. I'm just trying to get through some other stuff first. But
You
I
gotta
know
get through Fates. Are you gonna read Mercy Kill and Crucible afterwards, Marcel?
probably not this year. No, but I will get through Fate.
Fair enough.
I will.
Well, before we end the stream, because I got food downstairs and I need to go eat, but What is I'm gonna ask one last question for everybody, and then we'll hop off. But what is everybody's favorite scene? Does anyone have a favorite scene? So we'll start with lopsided. We'll go around. Lopsided.
My favorite scene, unironically enough, is when Boba Fett basically introduces the stock market into the expanded universe. I thought that was very interesting in seeing how he invests his credits. That always stuck with me in that entire book. Just introducing the stock market.
That's
That's
really
pretty
cool.
cool. That's a pretty cool answer. Ken?
I'd say Thraken's death. It was so over the top. I just gotta laugh out of me.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. Marcel?
It's been like a few years since I read this book, but I would say the thing that sticks out to me the most is probably Thraken's death. And
Thraken's death.
yeah, and how just kind of like I wasn't expecting it to go down the way that it did, and I also wasn't expecting him to die either. So when they killed him off, I was surprised.
Fair, yeah. I knew going in because of the artwork. I'd seen it already. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Lord. But yeah, that's pretty fair. Brennan?
My favorite was probably when Murda's like crying in reaction to her mother's death, and Boba's just kind of speechless, and then they kind of bond a little bit over this, and then they are en route to Geonosis, and they're kind of talking. It's kind of tragic and heartbreaking and very impactful, and it stuck with me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say about the same thing for me too, that from Aylin's death to her burial on Geonosis. I know that's not one scene, but that's multiple scenes, but
same for me.
It was excellent part of the book.
Travis writes sad stuff really well, and we'll see that when we get to like Sacrifice as well.
She writes Mandalorians in general, Not I guess Sacrifice, I guess that's a general, but she writes Mandalorians very well.
I would say so. She found her niche and she truly ran with it.
and not just the Mandalorians, but the Womandalorians and the Children DeLoreans as well.
DeLoreans? Is this Back to the Future?
DeLoreans.
Yeah. Look at this dude. You are way too late, Alex. We're about to end.
Behind.
Magneno.
The Magnino himself.
Hey, Magneno, rate my Ahsoka shirt out of 10. Thank you.
He ranks it 3 naked Palpatines out of 10 Padmes in Attack of the Clones.
Nazo, digging the Garrus profile picture.
Nazo had to say.
Yes, we will discuss NJO if he gets there.
Yeah, you do, Iron.
Right.
It's all good. I was messing with you. Yeah, this was great. Thanks for joining, Iron. Thanks for everybody else for joining. Even Alex for joining too late. I'm glad y'all. Thank y'all for joining. I don't know where we're gonna do the next book. Now that summer is coming up, I don't have school no more. Max don't have school no more. Lopsided don't have school no more. Brennan, I don't know if you're in college yet.
I'm graduating.
Are you graduating?
Yeah, I'm graduating 12th grade here in like.
Oh hell yeah!
3 weeks, hopefully. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! So he's almost done with school. Ken,
I'm always
you're not at school, are you?
No, I just work. I don't go to school.
Okay. Marcel, he's gonna be busy. He's gonna be working on Legends Con.
I hope to be back for Tempest, and there's a few others I'd love to join in for. I could tell you probably right now that I'm not going to be joining in for Sacrifice or Invincible.
Why not?
Let's just keep it at that.
What,
but Tempest, I really enjoyed as well.
That's the one I did. That's my least favorite, which surprised me. That's my least favorite Denning book.
I'm enjoying it so far. It's not as good as Bloodline, or not Blood. Yeah,
maybe
Bloodline. Not as good as Bloodline.
I love Hapes.
I just
it's about Hapes.
I just like the Hapes cluster, and I like Tenel Ka, even though I rag on her sometimes. I love Tenel Ka.
Yeah, she's. So I'm guessing you don't like Sacrifice or Invincible, Marcel.
I'm
guessing it's not you don't like. You hate those books.
I have issues. I have issues with those books.
Someone's gonna call up that Marcel. I have issues, Marcel Ryan.
well, who doesn't? But those books in particular,
who doesn't?
But again, Bloodline, I thought was Bloodlines, rather, not to be confused with Claudia Gray's Bloodline. I thought was a really, really good book.
It was very good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank y'all for joining. I really appreciate it. We'll do the next one whenever we figure that out. And I actually have to finish the book first because I'm not done with it yet. I'm almost done though. But hopefully after school's in, when that's done, I don't have to worry. I'll have a lot more time to read. So thank you all very much for joining. I will see you guys next time.
See you.
Peace.